Hey everybody, it's the Nitty Professor, and I got a really cool assignment today. So I'm doing a practicum at the School for the Blind because I'm going to be teaching some courses relevant to educators teaching the blind and visually impaired in a year or so. So the assignment was, this is in a high school classroom, that I should talk to the students about my knitting and introduce projects with different textures and this kind of thing. And I thought, okay, that sounds really great. So, the idea being just to introduce them to the feeling of different fibers and different stitches. And, if any of you has any kind of like relevant experience with special ed kids or something like that, with something like this, where the whole idea is to try to educate them a little bit about the fiber, like wool, maybe non-wool, and different stitches and the garments that you can make, why I would be really interested in getting some advice. So here's one that I picked. I just grabbed a bunch of scarves, and if you have other ideas for me, let me know. I also have some hats I can share, but here is a garter stitch scarf that I knit from Unspun. It's kind of like Plötulopi, but it's from Noro. It's called the Rainbow Roll. And I'm thinking that's got garter stitch, and this is a bit rougher texture, so it's going to feel different from, say, this, which is knit from Malabrigo Superwash. It's definitely going to have a different texture and feel, so it's superwash. You can kind of feel the sort of plasticky polymer sort of addition, and I can explain a little bit about the structure of the wool fiber, right? How it has the like the barbs, the scales, and how the superwash process smooths those out. So maybe that would be kind of interesting for them. Plus, there are a couple of students who they can see just enough to like recognize colors, so they might be intrigued with, the brilliant colors and stuff. And obviously here we have a rib stitch too. So this is 2x2 rib, and I'm sure it would be interesting for them to contemplate, well, here's the garter stitch versus the rib stitch. Then I have, this is hand spun yarn, so I'll be curious if they can, differentiate. I'm sure, this has quite the halo to it, so you'd think that it's going to be a lot different in the feel from this sort of smooth superwash yarn. And plus the ribbing is different because this is a 4x4, and it's hand spun, and it's blue face luster. It's got, I don't know, I think it's acid dyed is what this is. A friend of mine dyed and carded up this, and I spun it. But it definitely feels quite different. All of these already feel really different. So, I don't know, maybe you can like give me some ideas about what else I should explain as far as the stitch, like, how the stitches are made and stuff. I don't know how much they're going to understand. The ones who were born blind, it's hard for them to wrap their mind around a lot of this stuff. But this one has a lot of alpaca in it. It also has some stellina. But you can see there's some shiny stuff in there. But this is a similar rib. I was almost thinking I could like quiz them, right? So I could hand them, after I've talked about the different scarves, say, well, what stitch is this? Is it garter stitch? Is it 4x4 rib, 2x2 rib? Is it alpaca? Is it, like, see how far I could go. Some of them read Braille and they have really sensitive touch. There are a few who don't. There's quite a variety of levels. But here's another one that is garter stitch, and to be honest, I forget what kind of yarn this is, but it's a looser, much looser sort of stitch from this garter stitch. So it'd be interesting to see if they can actually recognize that the stitch is similar, You almost have to really look close, like have to stretch this out a lot to see the similarity with this. And this also, I'm convinced this is another superwash, even though it's more rustic than the Malabrigo. I can't remember what kind of yarn it is, but it's nice. And here's another garter stitch one, but this is made of acrylic, and my son knit it. It was the first and last thing he ever knit. So this is going to feel a lot more coarse and loose, and even like the edges. So I could ask them, which garter stitch scarf was knit by my son? That'd be kind of funny. He was a freshman in high school, and he took a fashion class. So I've done a video before about how my son got me started knitting, and this is the project that did it. And then the other one, I've got a couple more. Here's one that I knit in a rib stitch, so that's going to feel definitely different. Plus, this one is cashmere. It's cashmere in it, so I'll just call it cashmere. It's got some wool mixed in. This is another Noro yarn, but I'm thinking this would be really interesting. Like, I'll ask them, what is this? Rib, cable, garter, and I don't know how many other stitches I have like on hand. I should look for lace is what I should do. I should look for lace. I could also like talk about the gauge, couldn't I? I talk about, well, this was knit with a fine yarn and this was knit with a heavier yarn. That might be something that's worth talking about too. And then the last one I have is made with Lopi. This is Icelandic wool, and again, it's 2x2 rib. And to me, it feels kind of similar to, gosh, it almost feels similar to the cashmere, almost feels similar to the alpaca, but it's still sort of distinctive. So in any case, I'm kind of excited to engage in this. I also might bring in some skeins with me, to show like, here's the yarn that was made of, and that's what it feels like when it's in the skein. I suppose I could bring some, fiber that's not spun, and I could say, well, this, I spun this up. This is how it feels before it's spun, and compare that with the yarn, and then the scarves. So, I mean, if you have any cool ideas for me, what I could talk about to introduce these blind students, because some of them hated texture when they were growing up because they didn't understand, they didn't have the like visual stimulation to associate like the curiosity with why would I want to feel that. So in some cases, getting them to embrace different textures and really be excited about feeling and trying to get at the differences between the different textures is an accomplishment for them. And the ones who read Braille, I think I can really kind of try to involve that skill a little bit psychologically with them. Like, you can tell the difference between these letters and these other letters and these contractions, because like some of the signs, the whole, all 6 dots are full, like the sign for 4, and then you have the sign for the letter A, which is just 1 dot, or the capital sign is just 1 dot. I've been studying Braille too. I'm trying to get back into it. So in any case, I would welcome your ideas, and I'm looking forward to sharing this with the blind students. So it's kind of a nice opportunity to educate them a little bit about wool and about maybe even some of the clothing that they have. Although wool, buying wool, it's not like back in the 90s where, oh, I just want a wool coat, Good luck with that. Now it's all bubble coats. But in any case, who knows? Maybe I could get them interested in knowing more about sheep. I should bring a sheep. That would be cool. So anyhow, that's all I have for today. But I look forward to your comments. I appreciate all the comments. You all are so wonderful. Doing this channel is just so much fun because it's so affirming. And my son was talking to me a few minutes ago about how toxic some of the Facebook feed that he gets is. And I was like, yeah, I don't even want to look at that. So I always really enjoy this knitting community that we have, and the spinning, and all the lovely comments. And I appreciate your subscribing. And if there's anything particular you'd like me to try to show you or talk about, just let me know, because I'm definitely open, and it's just a pleasure to interact with you. So thanks in advance for any ideas that you have. I appreciate it. Benny appreciates it too. He's sleeping right here. And we'll check in soon. Take care. Bye.